Hey, it's Dr. Linda Davis, and today I want to walk you through a Gimp exercise where I'm giving the students the boulder image, and then I told them to cut out a picture of themselves and remove the people that were on the boulder and place themselves on the boulder. So here's my finished one, and I just kind of wanted to walk you through how to do this. So let me close out of this one, and we'll start with our blank Gimp canvas. I have the images downloaded already, or one of the images. Let me open the first one. I'm going to open the boulder because we need to do some things with the boulder. So there's the boulder image. Let me open that up. And it's going to ask me to convert or keep. I think I'm going to just say keep the color profile basically that it asks for. That showed up on my other screen, by the way. And now you see the image with the two people on there. We want to remove them. And there's more than one right way to do it, but I typically just go into rectangle select tool on your toolbox, and I just start selecting the background colors behind them. Just grab a nice square of background. I'm going to control C and control V, which is copy and paste, and the move tool automatically pops up. I'm just going to kind of cover them up with that. And I can get another section. I can do just control V again if I want to just take the exact same thing and just move it over him and maybe put it in a different area so it doesn't look so contrived. And then control V again, and I will try to block those feet out of there as best I can, and control V again, and obviously one more time. Now you can click out of that just to kind of see. It's not too bad. I mean, I think it does need a bit of airbrushing just to smooth those rectangular edges that still show. So on your toolbox you have an airbrush tool, or it may say paintbrush initially. I like to right click on these tools because they put several tools on one icon, and I'm going to just, if yours says paintbrush, you want to do airbrush instead. So click on airbrush, and don't just start airbrushing. You've got to select the color that's going to work for this background. Now Gimp's been fighting me a little bit on this today. It's been a little glitchy this week, not gonna lie, and I'm just gonna go to my colors, and I'm kind of in that range of colors I would probably need. I was trying to use my color picker tool or the eyedropper, and the eyedropper was not working good today, so I'll try it again to see if it'll get in that range, but I wasn't having too much luck earlier. See, it sends me to the reds, for instance. I don't really know why it's doing that. So anyway, let me go back to those previous colors. I'm just going to manually pick a color that I think will kind of work. A little bit of a bluish gray, and I'll just say okay on that. And my size on my airbrush, you can kind of see the circle, or a little bit. It's a tiny circle. I mean, if over here on your toolbox, if you pull it under size, you pull it more toward the middle, you're going to have a very large circle of airbrushing, which not detailed enough really for this task. So I'm going to pull it back, to a smaller brush size like that, and just kind of buff out. That's how you need to think of it, like you're buffing out these edges, these rectangular edges, just a little bit here and there. And it may look like clouds, or you may want to change and go with a little darker color. I think I want to go darker. Let me just see if that shade would be better. Just kind of play around with it and see what kind of works. And it's okay to have it look like clouds, because remember, your picture is going to be probably along it. I'm going to go just a bit darker. Okay, and let me just continue to buff that out. Just don't want to really see those rectangular edges, something like that. So just work it a little bit with your mouse. Doesn't have to be perfect. You just don't want to see a straight edge, because in nature you don't usually see a 90-degree angle there normally. All right, let me buff that one out a little bit too. Okay, so good enough. Now let's go find a picture. I'm going to cut my picture out and make it to where it looks like I'm setting on that rock. Let me bring that additional image in. So I'll go to File, Open, and I think I have that image already there. Yeah. All right. So I'm bringing up a second image. It immediately asked me, even though the picture is more portrait, it rotated it again. I don't know why, but I want this one. I don't want this one. So it's just setting on a fireplace hearth. Let me hit the rotated one since, and they right now I'm about this picture's about the same size as the boulder picture, which means I'm gonna have to scale myself down quite a bit once I cut myself out of this image. So what I'm gonna do is go to the free select tool on your toolbox, and the best way to handle it is just to pretend like you're stitching it with your mouse and you're just going in and out of all the around the areas, and just keep clicking your mouse so that as you make the turns it stays with you. And we're just going to keep going up and around. You want to stay, obviously more toward the inside versus the outside. You just don't want any background showing. Going to go a little faster here. And you may not be perfect around your ears and fingers as you do this. And it is important to, pick an image of yourself that goes with, sitting down or standing up that would work for that particular boulder image. Now, obviously, top of the head's cut off, so I'm just going to kind of round it, go around the hair, and then come around the shoulders. Clicking the mouse as I go, just to keep it, those lines to where they reflect what it is I'm trying to cut out. And we'll go all the way down. Obviously missing a foot right there, but I'll just trim or go straight down until I join up again with it. I just don't want any of the background involved in this one. So I think we've done well enough to stay around that. Now, it's important to go all the way back to where you started, and you'll know when you've gone all the way back to where you started that your image will get the marching ants going around it, and that means you're done with that part anyway. The next step is to go up to Edit and select Copy Visible. That means it's just going to copy what you have chosen to cut out. So click on Copy Visible, and now you're free to go back to your boulder image, and you're going to go to Edit, Paste as New Layer, and remember that image that I just cut out, it's really big and it's going to come in super large, so don't let that put you off if yours does the same thing. So paste as new layer, and you can see that's what's happened, and we just got to scale it way down. So we're going to go back to the toolbox and we're going to look for our scale tool, and it may say one of these other choices, but mine's on scale. If yours is not, just right click and it'll hold still while you select scale. Okay, now when you click on it, it's really large, like I said, and you can, a little scale dialog box pops up. You want to keep that in perspective, so make sure that chain is locked, and you can mine's so big I'm just going to start off this way and just tell it scale it down. You can kind of see it starting to scale down, and then when it gets manageable I'll just be able to well, I've still got to go down some more. And let's see, move that one. If you use the move tool, make sure you move the active layer. And that sometimes happens when you're working with two different images. Continue to scale it down. Let me readjust. Okay. I hit the readjust button, and that helped me find my box here so I can rescale it down to where I can manage it, where I can grab it with my mouse. Obviously, I came in really big and now obviously want to go really small, but now it's movable. You can find it, you can manipulate that. Um, I want to see if it'll let me move it now. And even though it's way out here and you didn't see a thing, I'm just going to grab it with my mouse and move it and set on the rock. Um, and I want to look like I'm a little closer to this side since I'm missing a foot. But I want to make sure that I'm setting on the rock. I want to make sure my hand is on the rock, so I may go something like that. Okay, and you can play with scaling it up a little bit more. You can hit scale again if you didn't quite nail it the first time, and you can click on it and it's active again for you to make it larger or smaller. I would say always do this from the corners to keep it in proportion. And now we're not quite done because we obviously have to merge visible layers, and so that's what I want to do next. I'll just click on something else, but let me go up to image and then merge visible layers. And hit the merge button. And you want to save it, so we don't usually save, we use export as. And you want to name it boulder, finished. And then hit export again and save it, in your documents or your pictures file or wherever the case may be. And I'll just stick the finished one in my 295 work, and I'll hit export. And then one final export button. And there you have it. Now you may have a different version of Gimp, but just work with your toolbox as best you can. And remember, most of these tools are up here as well in the menu items if you need to not use the toolbox and use those instead.